Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar. We'll talk today about secure remote access for your machines. So first of all, welcome to MB Connect Line, where a German company established over 20 years ago in the charming little city of Dinkelsbühl, northern Bavaria. The company is personally owned and managed by Mr. Siegfried Müller, the gentleman with the dark suit in the middle of the picture. We own all of our products. R&D is done in-house, software, firmware, and all production is done in our own factory. With production, I mean the final assembly, the programming, the quality assurance, and the tracing of our products. So at MB Connect Line, we believe that IT alone cannot secure the industry. The industry has to secure itself. What we see in the past 10-15 years, the industry adopted IT technologies, and today PLCs, drives, I/O blocks, HMIs, they all have a VNC server, they all have an embedded web server. We see that all these automation devices are now connected. Well, if they're connected, IT security is required. What we also see is that we hear a lot of people talking about IT-OT integration, but we would like to see IT-OT integration also understood in the sense of IT security integration into OT workflows. Too often, IT security is still a hurdle for the user, and if it is a hurdle for a user in production, well, it will be bypassed. Hence the post-it note with the admin password on the side of the SCADA monitor, for instance. That's just one of the many examples. What we believe also is that secure OT products and solutions is just the start. It's not only about features, it's not only about designing a secured product, it is also about living security as a structure and as a process in the company to support the security of your products all through the lifetime of those products. So from there, how do we contribute? Well, we contribute in three ways. We contribute with three different offers. The first one, of course, is secure remote access, where you will start with a very simple solution and you will grow that solution later on with more options and more possibilities as your need will grow. And that's the topic we will talk about today. We have another vertical, another tier in our offer, secure industrial IoT, where with a software extension for our remote access router, you will get a complete edge gateway on your device, and this will allow you to move data from the field directly to your cloud application and will allow you to get the IoT job done easier and quicker. Last year is industrial network security, where we see that production networks carry open protocols like Modbus. Production networks have very vulnerable devices, sometimes also very old devices. Well, what we propose here with the product we see there, MB Netflix, what we propose here is to complement IT security efforts with OT secured solution. And that product shown there is an automation firewall. We'll see that at the end of this presentation. It's one of the many ways to complement IT security efforts. So let's talk about secure remote access. And first of all, why would somebody use remote access solutions today? First use case, I would say it's remote support and maintenance. Here we step in the shoes of a machine builder, somebody who wants to give support to its end users. Here we are in the case of a support team who wants to assist an end user, where in the case of a support and maintenance team that want to upgrade or fine-tune the configuration of a machine. Another use case might be to secure suppliers' remote services. Here we are more in a machine user perspective. We're more in a factory perspective. What we see today is that more and more factories are getting concerned about who gets into the factory. There may be a lot of machines, many of those are connected in a way or another, and the suppliers of these machines offer remote services. Well, if you're the IT of the factory, you want to know who gets into the factory. You want to know who accesses what component on the factory network. So, of course, IT has solutions to manage remote access. But the needs of a production environment, the needs of operations is sometimes very different from the needs of a standard office users. So what we propose here is a solution that is designed for OT, a solution that is designed for the operations, for production people, a solution that will preserve the flexibility that production people will need, but that is also designed with the highest security standards and that the IT of the factory can own and manage. So we're here with a solution that is more or less the missing link for a secure IT-OT integration. Third use case would be secure machine communication. Here maybe we're more in the perspective of a system integrator or an infrastructure where we have a central system and we have a set of delocalized sites. We have maybe pumping stations that report to a central water treatment plant. The whole infrastructure is managed by a central SCADA, and that central SCADA wants to have permanent connections to all sites. So these are maybe three of the common use cases for remote access. So let's dig into our solution and see basically how it works. Let's step first into the shoes of a machine builder. And let's have a look at the base solution. We'll see later how we go further from here. But the base concept is that we offer a service on internet. We offer we offer MB Connect 24, a public connectivity service. The same software, we will see it later, we also offer it under the name My MB Connect 24 as a private service. But here we start our offer with the base service, which is you create as a user, you create your account on MB Connect 24 on one of the 4 servers we have worldwide. And on your account, you will register your users and you will register your devices. The devices will automatically connect to MB Connect 24. The devices will connect to your account, and your users, when they need it, they will log in to your account and they will see the list of all the routers. The user can then connect to one router in particular and do the job. What makes us different? What makes this offer particularly attractive? Well, there's no initial investment. The base service is free. You can start immediately with multiple users, multiple devices, and later you may grow your customer account features whenever you need. Cybersecurity is included. We manage it, we take care of it, we take care of the patches, we take care of security improvements, we take care of feature improvements on the account. Your user access control is already included in the base service. You can already decide what user can access what device and the network behind it. And you even have some alarms and dashboards included in the base offer, so you can start already some sort of IoT projects. We maintain the solution. You benefit from a centralized management. With that, I mean that when you log into your account, you can manage devices and users already from a central place. One thing that has to be mentioned, each account is independent. When you create your account, MBConnect24 will create an open VPN server just for your account. So you run your complete architecture on one independent open VPN server instance. So this is our public service. This is how I would summarize the way you work with MBConnect24. This is our base architecture. So, in terms of security, let's have a quick look at how we see security. And I will leave you a few seconds to read the poetry here. The purpose with security, the purpose with IT security when we talk to OT users, when we deal with OT use cases, it's not that you would see security. The purpose is that your solution would be secured. The idea for a manufacturer is to make security as invisible as possible for the user. What we want is that IT security really melts into the workflow of the user. So security becomes a natural part of the user workflow and is not an additional effort. When you reach that as a manufacturer, then you are sure that you improve the security of your solution. Of course, from the buyer side, it just makes the job a little bit more complicated because security is not necessarily something you see. You will see some of the security features, but there are many features that you won't see. And security features is just one aspect of the security of our solution. When we look at security our way, we live security as a process in our company. It means that it starts with the product design. We start from the very first step of the product design. When we create a new product, we first look at the use case. And we make sure that this use case cannot be abused. We try to secure the usage of the product so that the only thing you can do is the intended use case. So this is the concept of security by design. We, of course, have security reviews very regularly, also during the R&D process, where we sometimes invite our security partners to verify and validate the R&D choices that we have made. And, of course, we publish patches all through the lifetime of the product. We also leave security as a structure. We run security audits. We run penetration tests. We train our staff. Our staff follows 2 certified trainings where they have to show that they master whatever they've learned, and every year they have to show that they used what they learned in their daily job. So it's not just a one-time training, it's also a training on a process of several years, and every 3 years these trainings have to be redone and updated. We have a security response team in our company. A security response team that analyzes the threats, the impact of those threats, security response team that analyzes the reports from our pen testers, those that we contact ourselves, or those that are called in by our customers. Many of our customers want to pen test the solution before they start using it. Well, of course, we receive the report and we analyze it in detail. And sometimes we produce patches to improve. And then finally, of course, there are security features. There are security features in our products that you will see. There are also security features that you will not see. We will see a few examples in a few slides. But basically, we follow the recommendations of security agencies worldwide. There's a number of agencies. I'm thinking of BSI in Germany. I'm thinking of ENISA for EU. But a lot of countries have security agencies that basically publish the same sort of recommendations. Give back the control on the end user. Make sure that the basics are covered when you produce, when you launch a new product. So we will see some of those features in a few slides. All right, good. So let's have a look at the solution and let's see how we can use the solution. Secure remote services made simple. When you are a user of our solution, what do you need? How will it look like? How will you use it? Well, we start with the basic solution, MB Connect 24. We have 4 servers worldwide, 1 server in the US, 1 in Europe, 1 in Australia, 1 in China. You will create your account on this server, and you have no initial investment. The free service, the base service is free, and you will grow your account later as you need. 3 things you can do. Register a new unit, connect to a device. Maybe you want to connect to the HMI and view what the operator of the machine sees on the HMI. And maybe you want to reprogram the PLC. We have 3 tools for that. Let's have a look at the first one you will use, Simply Connect. This is a new way to register a new device on your account. So you can scan the QR code that is displayed on the screen at the moment. That will take you to a demo of our Simply Connect application. Basically, when you receive your first MBNet unit, you have in the box a document with a first QR code like the one you see now. This QR code will take you to the Simply Connect application. You can scan it and just follow the link. What happens then? Well, you're invited to choose your server. Where is your server located? Is it the European server, US server, China, Australia, or maybe it's your own server? I told you in the beginning that with MB Connect 24, we take care of the whole service. With my MB Connect 24, well, you run your own service. So maybe you have your own server and you then need to tell Simply Connect where Simply Connect can find your server. Next step? Well, next step, you will log into your account. Here it's a demo, so user is already typed in. You just need to press the login button and you will be logged into our demo. Next step, now you are authenticated. The system will want to know about the device. The system knows about you. Now the system will want to know about the MBNet you want to register. On the MBNet, in the box of the MBNet, you have this document with a first QR code to connect to the application. You have a second QR code on the same document. The same QR code is on the box and on the device. That second QR code will contain the device information, the serial number, etc. So you are invited now to press the scan button on your screen and to scan the QR code. Now this is a demo, so we don't assume that you already have an MBNet unit. So a few seconds after you press the scan button, there is an autofill button that will appear. You can just press that one. Now you scan the device information. The system knows about you. The system knows about the device. If we want the system to be secured, we need to make the link between you and the device so we can make sure that this is really your device and you're not faking the identity of somebody else. So that's what happens now. You will power on your MBNet, you will give it an access to internet, and the MBNet will contact the Simply Connect server. Now, be ready to press a button on the MBNet to make the connection between you and the MBNet. Once Simply Connect knows that, then you're ready. One more information or two more information that Simply Connect will know is what is the name of your router. That name will be a unique identifier for this router, and what is the project in which you want to import that device. For us, a project is a container for devices, just like a folder is a container for files. It's a way to organize your install base. Once this is done, you can just proceed, and the configuration will be downloaded from the Simply Connect application down to the device, and the device will show up online in just a few seconds. So, now we've completed the first step, we've registered a device on our system. What can we do? Well, our portal, MB Connect 24, or my MB Connect 24, our portal is essentially web-based. You can do nearly everything from a plain web browser, on a PC, on a smartphone, on a tablet. We have Web2Go. Web2Go is an easy way to connect to a smart device. If you tell your account that behind this specific router there is a device with a VNC service, there is a device with an HTTP service, well, the portal will then be able to reroute your connection to that service. So you will simply log into your account, press a Web2Go button, and your account will then make the connection with the router and with that particular service on one of the smart devices behind your router. Now, this is all fine if you want to give assistance to an end user and, for instance, share whatever the end user sees on the HMI. If you want to program a PLC, or if you want to update a PLC program or change an HMI or a drive program, you will most probably run a PLC programming software on your PC. This software will expect to have a direct connection with the remote device. For that, you will have to install a software on your PC, MB Dial-Up. This is our VPN client. If you remember the slide where we saw the whole architecture, you had MB Connect 24 as a central service. You have the MBNet unit that connects to the portal and secures the connection with OpenVPN. MB Dial-Up will do exactly the same thing from your PC. MB Dial-Up will establish a VPN connection with the portal, and when you log in, you will see all your devices. When you press on one of the devices, MB Dial-Up will send a signal to the portal so that the portal connects the two VPNs together, and you then have an end-to-end connection. Your programming software on your PC will see the device on the remote side. So that's basically how you can use the system. This is basically how you would use remote access with MB Connect Line. What do you need for that? Well, you will need your account on MB Connect 24, and you will need a router. For example, here, MBNet Mini, compact size and price, and solid value. This is our entry-level model. Can we go further? Yes, of course, both on the hardware side and on the software side. So let's have a first look at the hardware side. MBNet and MBNet Rocky are our flagships. These are the devices that show, that illustrate how we implement security. For example, you have this key on the MBNet Rocky. That key will control a 3-level access. That key has 3 positions: position off, the device is offline, the VPN link, the VPN uplink to the portal is disabled. So no one can reach the device. When the key is on position online, VPN link is enabled. You can reach the device, but the internal firewall will block all traffic to the LAN side. So you will be able to view information on the device. If you have a dashboard running on the device, you will be able to view it. But you will not be able to connect to the PLC or to the HMI of the machine behind it. The routing is disabled, the firewall will block the connection between VPN and the LAN side. It's only when the key is on the remote position that now you have full access to the remote site. This is a very simple and very plain recommendation from ENISA, from BSI, from security agencies worldwide. Give back the control to the local users. Local users should be able to control when they allow remote access, when they disallow remote access. So this is one of the examples. It's a very visible example of a security feature that we implemented following the recommendations of security agencies. Some people will like to have the key on the device. Some people will prefer to have the key on the electric cupboard. Some people will prefer to have the key as a soft button on the HMI. That's why on MBNet you don't have the key, but you can control exactly the same feature. You can control the connection in exactly the same way using digital inputs directly on the device. So this is a security feature you see. A security feature you don't see is, for instance, the hardware secure element, the security chip that is on board of the device. It's actually on the motherboard. And when we power on the unit for the first time, the firmware will generate a unique key. This key is used to encrypt all passwords, to create a secure container in which we will store all the data belonging to this device. We will also use this key to secure the boot process, and as we sign the firmware, you're always sure that your device runs an authentic MB firmware. Security features you see, security features you don't see. All MBNet devices, MBNet and MBNet Mini devices that leave the factory with a unique initial password, and it's already a complex password. So no generic password like admin, root, etc. With us, every device that leaves the factory has a unique password and a complex one. Of course, you can change it. But we took over the responsibility of giving a secured start for using the device. It has to be said, since January 1st, 2020, this sort of unique initial password is a legal obligation for every IoT device sold in California. California is the first state that pushes this forward and make it a legal obligation. I trust many countries will follow. Also, another recommendation from security agencies worldwide, local users should be able to decide when they give remote access. They should also be informed when there is an active connection. So you can set up one of the digital inputs of the MBNet to trigger a lamppost, a beeper, a device that will actually notify local staff that someone is in an active connection with the machine. So these are 4 examples of features, some you see, some you don't see, that we implemented on the product. Now this is for the hardware. Maybe time to move to the software. The centralized server software, the MB Connect 24 service, we also offer it as a virtual machine, my MB Connect 24. Now this is a virtual machine that can run on your servers under the control of your IT, in-house or hosted, but it's part of your architecture. We maintain the software. You will receive periodically patches, security patches, feature improvements. We maintain the software. All you need to do is take regular backups and apply the patches when you receive them. You can, of course, customize your server. You can customize the user interface. You can customize the hardware also. So it becomes your service to your customers. All right. So we've completed an overview of the first use case. We've completed an overview of what we offer as remote access solutions. Now it's maybe time to step into the shoes of a machine user. Let's take the same offer, but from a different angle. Let's look at it from the angle of a factory. And let's see how factories can secure their suppliers' remote support. There might be a lot of machines in the factory. Those machines are connected and the supplier offers some sort of remote services. That's fine. It's very useful because it sort of guarantees the uptime of the machine, the productivity of the machine. So these services are very much appreciated by the people in production. The issue is, with all these different remote access solutions from multiple vendors, IT has problems to guarantee the network, guarantee that no unauthorized access takes place on the network. So IT certainly has solutions to secure remote access. There are solutions that are used every day by remote users. The issue might be that the needs of an office user are not necessarily the same as the needs of a machine in production or a support person from the manufacturer. So we need to deal with those different use cases, and that's why we came up with my MB Connect 24. That's why we came up with a solution that is designed for the production environment and secured for the IT of the factory. So how we do this? Well, the factory would run its own MyMB Connect 24 server. Usually it is in a DMZ behind the company firewall. Routers would be in front of each machine. The routers would connect to MB Connect 24, and then the people in production can give access to one or another supplier, an access that can be to a specific machine, to a specific component on the machine. That service could be with full access, with only a Web2Go access, so there is no way to reprogram the device. There is only a way to view what the operator sees on the HMI. The access could be given for the next hour. The access could be limited to working hours. The access could be limited to 1 or 2 logins. There are multiple ways to control a remote user access. Of course, the software is maintained by MB. We supply patches. All you need to do is to take the backups and apply the patches. If we look at the third use case, if we look at, for instance, use case maybe more in infrastructure, but I do have machine builder customers running with this architecture, and also factories running with this architecture. What we want here is beyond remote access for service and maintenance. What we want here is more M2M communication. What we want here is a central system to be able to communicate directly with devices on remote sites. or vice versa. What we want is that smart devices on remote sites have a direct access to a central system, maybe a SCADA, a historian, a database, a system. What we have with my MB Connect 24, the virtual machine has 3 network interfaces. The first one is called WAN. That's the interface that will be connected to internet. This is the interface where devices will reach the server. This is the interface where users will reach the server. Second interface is called LAN. That's the administrator access to the backend of the server. This is where the administrator will administer accounts, where the administrator of the system will set the global parameters of the server. And then we have this special interface that we call VPN. This special interface, when you connect a device, when you connect a system to that special interface, we can bridge this system on the network range that is used for the VPN connections of every site. So instantly, that system that you connect to that interface gets instantly transparent access to all the remote sites, and all the remote sites will see the central system. Each site will remain invisible from the others. So you won't have site-to-site communication unless you really want it, and then it will be your active configuration step to enable it. But by default, each site remains independent, but they all see the central system, and the central system can pull data directly. So this covers more or less what I can say in short about our remote access solutions. What's next? Well, I told you remote access is one of the 3 tiers of our offer. We also have an offer for industrial IoT. We also have an offer for OT network security. Just to share a quick glance at what we offer for those. In the field of secure industrial IoT, typically the most difficult part of an IoT project is not to bring value to data. The most difficult part is to bring data securely from the field into a cloud application. And that's where we can help. This is where we help with our MBNet and MB Edge. Already on the base MBNet unit, you have drivers to acquire data from Modbus devices, from Siemens devices, even from some compact logics. This data can be synchronized with dashboards, with a database on MB Connect 24 or my MB Connect 24. This data is synchronized with your account, and you can view dashboards, you can run reports, you can receive alarm notifications about what happens on the site. Would that be insufficient? Would you like to go further? Then we have MB Edge. MB Edge is an additional software for an MBNet unit. And MB Edge will basically transform the MBNet unit into an edge gateway, into a Docker container environment. And the first container is already preloaded with Node-RED. So MB Edge will actually give you the capability of acquiring data, processing data, push data either to MB Connect 24 or my MB Connect 24, or to push data directly to your MindSphere application, your Azure application, Amazon Web Services, and other cloud environments, or even to a SCADA. You will directly talk MQTT or OPC UA with your higher end application, and the connection will be direct between the MBNet and MB Edge to the cloud application. All right. Of course, you have other containers on MB Edge where you can run your own application, and then your application runs on the router. When you combine MB Edge with Web2Go, when you enable Node-RED flows and Node-RED dashboards on MB Edge, if you combine that with Web2Go, you have a very quick way to interact with the machine, to interact with the remote site, as from a smartphone you can directly connect to the embedded dashboard on MB Edge on the local site, and from there interact with the local application. All right, last but not least, MB Netflix. That's the third tier of our offer. How can we complement IT efforts for security with OT secured solutions? What we see is that on the production network, we have very vulnerable devices. We have open protocols. We have devices with an embedded website, and that website was never patched, and it's maybe 5-10 years old. Those devices are very vulnerable. Every factory has an old industrial PC running an application. The application is key for production, but the PC still runs Windows XP, no longer supported. So if you can't secure this system, if you can't secure this industrial PC from inside, then maybe it's a good idea to secure it from outside. And that's the purpose of MB Netflix. It's a firewall. It's a firewall that we designed for micro-segmentation. The purpose of this is to secure a machine, to secure a component. And we see that when we install it, a lot of our users just use it as a NAT gateway. They use the micro-segmentation features much later. As you see, we call it an automation firewall, not because of the metal casing and the DIN array clip. We call it an automation firewall because of the user interface. There is high IT security on this device. There is no embedded website on this device. You use an external software. But as you see, it mimics a PLC programming software, and the environment is very graphical. For example, if you want to secure a machine, you unplug the machine from the switch, you plug it on the LAN port, you plug the one port of MB Netflix back on the switch where the machine used to be connected. When you plug your PC on the programming port of MB Netflix, you see what you see in this gray screenshot. You see who on the factory side talks to who on the machine side, and very graphically with a mouse you can select what are the connections you allow, what are the connections you disallow. So this is what we mean by melting IT security into OT workflow. The way we secure it, when you create a project for MB Netflix, we basically follow the workflow of a PLC programming software. You create a project, and you will later configure the device. You will put the configuration of the device in the project, and you will upload the project into the device. When that is done, you can go online with the device like you would go online with a PLC, and you can make your changes on the runtime. On the IT side, when you create a project, we generate a key. When you upload the project in the device, the key is uploaded with the runtime. So there is a unique link between the project file and the runtime. If you want to make a change, you need to have the project file and you need to know the project password. Otherwise, you can't do anything with the device. You can just reset it to factory settings. And to do that, you need to have visual and physical access to the hardware. So on an IT point of view, it's extremely secured. On an OT point of view, it is designed so OT staff can be autonomous to install and manage the device. So we've covered the 3 tiers of our offer. I hope you got new ideas from this webinar, and I invite you to take contact with us. We're never further away than the closest keyboard or telephone. Let's talk about your project. Thank you very much.